Guys, it's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on the East Coast. That means it's time for Proper Royals Live. It's a solo show tonight. Just Adam all night. Now, I got a good show for you. I put some extra time into writing it tonight. Second best show you're going to see all week because we had the Super Bowl halftime show before. Boom. Stick around. Let's have some fun tonight. Here we go. Guys, what's happening? Thank you all for being here. This is Proper Royals Live. If you haven't joined us before, this is a live show that I do every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. And it's part of my Proper Royals channel, which is kind of the family's journey from ball python hobbyist to ball python business. And we document everything right here on the Proper Royals channel. Tuesday nights, the live stream, and it goes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours each Tuesday night. And we stay pretty focused on ball python topics. So we could be talking about ball python business, marketing, breeding, plans, just hanging out, but we keep it focused on ball python. So if you're first time seeing it, I hope to see you again. I appreciate you. Those of y'all that are in the chat, it's good to see everybody tonight. Thank you all for being here. There's 8 people on, so thank you very much. Let's see, I see Jeremy, Rob, Bosa Balls. Thanks for always being here. Phil, as always, thank you so much. What I see, Ball Python Project. Steven from Leviathan, new dad again. Congratulations. I'm so glad to hear that everybody's healthy and everybody's home. I'll leave it there. We don't need to dig into personal lives too much, but many blessings to you all and to your family. I'm glad to hear that everybody's together. That's fantastic. So tonight, let's get right to it, man. I wrestled with this because it's been the topic of the hobby for 11 days now since it passed the House of Representatives. And it's the Lacey Act amendments that are part of the America Competes Act 2022. And let me start by saying none of this is about partisan politics. I'm not even going to stake my claim here. This is about issues that matter and that affect us. And in that way, actually, I had a moment. I try and look for gratitude in all things, I had a moment this week of thinking to myself, man, look at all the different points of view that might, all the different clans that might call themselves a Democrat or a Republican or left or right or libertarian or whatever it might be throughout our hobby. And here we all are. I don't hear anybody going, this is a so-and-so project. This is a so-and-so initiative. And in that way, it actually kind of invigorates me because this is democracy and our elected officials are supposed to be representative of their constituents, and we are their constituents. And this is a federal law that is being considered. So it will have overarching effects over states' rights, and it will affect every one of us if you're watching in the United States. Those of you all watching around the world, I'm interested. I know other countries have enacted laws like this, and how does this affect you? So friends in the UK, I know that I know from my metrics that about 24% of my audience watches from the UK. How cool is that? I guess I'm big in Southampton. I don't know. So that's a nod to Paul. Cheers. But so here's my thing. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not even here to tell you what to do. I will use my platform to tell you what I think is important, but also I put in a lot of time today picking apart some of the context around all of this. And there came an aha moment at the end, and maybe even a little bit as well. Also, if you're burnt out on the Usark legislation, Lacey Act stuff, stick around. We are going to get to ball python business stuff, some ideas that I've got cooking and other things that I've already put in place. Relationships, and then of course, the open chat and audience stuff. So I'm going to do my best to keep an eye on the comments. As usual, I may miss some comments, I may not, but we'll try and get to them. And I definitely want to involve you all tonight because that's really the best part of a solo show, is usually when there's a guest, I got to give all my attention to the guest. But tonight it's you guys. Phil says, nice shirt. Yeah, that's Bod's Exotic Reptiles. One of the things I was going to talk about is last weekend I spent a Sunday afternoon with Jeremy Bod. That video is going to come out tomorrow on YouTube on my channel. And I edited down all the footage to a, watchable thing, and it's still 40 minutes long. Man, he's got just an incredible amount of animals, incredible amount of stuff going on. I can't veer off. I don't want to jump into that yet. So, okay, this Lacey Act. Those of y'all that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, really quickly, an initiative which was a sort of a campaign promise and platform of the Democrats and the Biden administration, called the America Competes Act of 2022. It's an economic development act. And at the last minute before it went to vote, somebody, and I didn't get enough research to find out who sponsored this part of it, snuck in some amendments to the Lacey Act. And the Lacey Act is what regulates the wildlife trade in the United States. And it's part of the interstate commerce. And so part of what makes this a mess is that the Lacey Act is a federal law, but it's regulating interstate trade and commerce. So there's one of the first problems with it. It passed the America Competes Act, passed the House by 12 votes on February 4th. And actually, I'm not here to tell you whether to like America Competes or not. I actually personally don't have an issue with it from what I understand of it. The problem is the Lacey Act being included in it has nothing to do with the economic development portion of what this act is supposed to be about. And I'm going to read you through the bullet points of this act here in just a moment. So the frustrating thing is that somebody's pet project that they thought would be a good platform to stand on and wave a flag and rally people with has turned into a real headache. But here's a sliver of good news. It's not just a headache for reptile keepers. This is a headache for the fish community, for the bird community. And if you think there's a lot of reptile keepers out there, wait till you see the number of fish and bird keepers out there that are up in arms. So this is bigger than just our, I think we kind of take pride sometimes in a close-knit enclave minority community. It's kind of our thing, pardon the language, there's a lot of pissed off people out there. And I think what people are going to find, the politicians are going to find, is that as representatives of all those constituents, there's a real problem there because pets are universal. Pets are not a partisan politics problem or topic. You can have the most left wing and the most right wing, and they'll both crumble and cuddle and turn into, goofy kids over the cutest little dog that you've ever seen, or a beautiful fish, or a beautiful bird, or snakes, retirees, military, white, black, brown, Asian, everybody, all of these folks are represented. And, so I think that there's some really good light at the end of the tunnel. Part of why I wanted to start my show with it this week, even though I know we've all heard about it all week. I had a good conversation with Steven over at Leviathan Snakes earlier this week, and he made a great point. If we don't talk about it, if we get complacent about it, it falls down. We all know. Look at all the scandals that come up daily, and then we forget about them because there's another news cycle. If you've watched my show, I've been on YouTube for about a year now, and I've been doing this show. Actually, I think there's like 27 or 30 episodes in a row. I haven't missed a week. I don't talk politics. I don't lose sleep over things that I feel like I can't control. And generally, other than voting, I don't think I can control politics. This has me really frustrated. I've sunk a whole lot of money and time and care and invested in being a part of this community. I don't want it taken away from me. And that is what this legislation would do. It doesn't make sense. And I'm talking rationally, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but passionately and personally and emotionally, I don't want any part of it. So I agree with Stephen. I am going to talk about it. I don't want it to go away from our minds. I want it to go away from the legislation. And when we get complacent, that is a vote in the other direction. It's a victory for the other people. And let me tell you, the lobby groups that have the money to fight this sort of fight, even I think it's a misguided fight. I think all of us on this channel care deeply about animals. So to paint us as people that don't care about animals is absolutely bonkers. That group, that lobby has the money and they have the time. Doesn't happen this time. We'll try it again next time. But hey, if we could keep quiet about it long enough for them to forget about it, I'm an amateur when it comes to politics, when it comes to legalese and legal action. It's not my alley. I want to play music. I want to breed ball pythons, and I want to run restaurants. I want to be a good husband and a good dad. I don't know this other crap, but I'm going to figure it out because this is not cool, man. And I know it's not cool because I see everybody else believing in it too. So if I have a little small platform that you guys could be a part of, by all means, we'll talk about it and we'll work at this thing. So from a rational standpoint, let's talk about what this Lacey Act amendment is going to do. There's three main components that if you get a chance, if you feel like you get a voice, if you get around, and please do email your state senators, your state's senators, your federal senators from your state. The links are on the Usark page. You could Google USARK, Google it. Boom, it'll pop up. You don't have to be a member to use their resources. You don't have to be a member to click on their links. I urge you to become a member, but you don't have to be. But they're our hobby's primary lobby, all right? We're the little guys. So the first thing that doesn't make sense from a rational standpoint, forget your stand on animals, on animal rights, on politics, on left, right, center, green, blue, black, doesn't matter, is the move from a blacklist model, which is what exists right now, I'll explain that in a second, to a whitelist model. Here's how crazy this legislation is. The legislation says, what exists right now is a blacklist model. So the easiest example I can give is clearly, Burmese pythons in the Everglades are a problem. I don't think any of us would debate that. Whether they're a problem in the hands of pet owners in South Florida, okay, we can all debate that. That's fine. So we've recognized a problem. We've analyzed the science that there's not predators that can kill these things. They're going to thrive, and we can't keep up with their population boom in that environment. Okay, so Burmese pythons become blacklisted in that area. Now, again, whether that should affect responsible pet owners or not, fine. That's a different argument, a different debate. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But as an example of what science and logic and reason would dictate as a reason to blacklist an animal in a certain area, that's the best one that I can give. On the flip side, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, a ball python will never, not a ball python, a Burmese python will never, ever thrive if it were to escape. So they're not outlawed there. There's no reason to outlaw them there. So that's the blacklist model. Here's a problem. We've identified it. We're going to outlaw it in this locale, in this area, in this state or location. This current legislation, other than cats and dogs, would automatically move everything over to a whitelist model. And for a whitelist to exist, everything starts on the blacklist. Everything is outlawed from what can travel from state to state, what can be imported, and what can be sold. What you own and what you breed and keep is it. That's why it would kill this hobby. Because here's the thing, if you can't just say, oh, well, I think something would move over to a whitelist relatively easy. You have to prove that it's non-injurious on a federal level. If it's injurious anywhere, it's going to be kept on the blacklist. I guarantee you there's somewhere in these 50 states and territories that are the United States that a ball python could be considered injurious. So then what? They outlaw them? It stays on the blacklist because it started there and couldn't move to the whitelist? I know our civil liberties don't apply to our animals, but that's a guilty until proven innocent model. That's an outlook of fear. That's an outlook of everything's horrible, nothing's right. It's irrational. It's not based in science. It's not based in fact. It's unacceptable. For the record, this America Competes Act, I do not know who put the Lacey Act amendments in. I cannot speak for that. It is it's a part of the Democrats' movement or of their platform that they're elected on. But if you think that that's me taking a swat at the Democrats, it's likely, if something doesn't change, to pass because of the rules and the changes in the rules that were enacted in the Senate in the prior administration. They need a simple majority. That's all that there is. So now, here we go. Silly rules that got changed out of convenience are now going to come back to bite the other people in the tail. The Democrats control the Senate 50-50, but with the tiebreaker with our Vice President Kamala Harris. So fortunately, and I couldn't find the details today. If anybody knows them in the comments, let me know. Boseball says it's an open door to controlling everything else. Yeah, part of this is the scary precedent that it sets. It's not that I really think that by and large ball pythons are going to get outlawed. It's that if we set this as a normalization, then what's the next thing that can get controlled? What's the next thing that can follow a whitelist model? I saw Marco Rubio's name, who, for the record, is my state senator, and I think you're in Florida too. It was the same language when it was tried to be introduced last time. So whether it was Marco Rubio that put it in or somebody else adopted it, I'm not so sure. It doesn't matter at the moment. It's in there. Both in my state, Marco Rubio and Rick Scott are our state senators to to Washington. They've both gotten a letter from me. So thank you for hearing me out. So it goes from the whitelist to the blacklist model. Secondly, it becomes a federal law. So that using that same example of a Burmese python in the Everglades versus Minneapolis would apply just as well to a green iguana, to a ball python. This is an interstate trade issue, not a federal, what applies in Maine applies in San Diego issue. That's pretty crazy. So it's a federal law with an interstate travel ban. The travel ban, too, would make it a federal crime, a federal felony, punishable by up to $20,000 to cross an imaginary man-made line. Say you needed to go to a vet. Say you had a customer across that imaginary, political line. Nope. Felony, federal felony, $20,000 per infraction. What's it going to lead to? It's going to lead to people mailing things in a covert, unsafe way. It's going to kill animals. It's going to kill our hobby. It's going to kill economy and industry. I'm saying this because I know that you all are a friendly audience, but if we could put it in a consumable way to somebody else, what if they did this to bicycle shop owners? What if they did this to restaurants? What if they did this to farmers? We got to fight this thing. So I've heard that there's legislation that was an amendment that was introduced to remove the Lacey Act amendments from the America Competes Act. I personally think that's our best avenue to pursue, to try and convince our senators to advocate for. Go get the America Competes Act. It passed with bipartisan support in the House. It's likely that the Democrats control the Senate. They're going to get it passed. Biden's not going to veto it. It's part of his agenda. That's fine. It's fine. Man, fine by me. It can be fine by you or not. I'm not worried about that. It has nothing to do with the rest of the America Competes Act bill. Let me run down and give you a snapshot of what this is. I dug in today on the America Competes Act. The America Competes Act is an economic set of laws and allocation of money and resources to compete largely with China. Probably something we can all get on board with. If not, that's okay. This ain't the platform for it. Do yay, nay, I don't care. However, the context of what our hobby is being threatened with has nothing to do with economic competition with China. Man, if anybody can get this to Marco Rubio or anybody, this is nuts. All right. So one of the main bullet points, there'll be a World Bank group and there's going to be an update on policy for the World Bank Group and Asian Development Bank loans to China. We are going to change how we support those groups that loan money to China. All right. Nothing to do with our reptiles. Prohibitions and conditions on certain transmittal of funds. If you read further into it, they're worried about people funneling money to China and North Korea. Probably a problem. Let's fix it. That's cool. U.S. stock exchange trading prohibition. I'm not even sure what this means. This is for foreign holding companies will have faced tighter regulation in trading American stocks. Okay, cool, fine. Study on Chinese support for Afghan illicit finance. We just fought the war in Afghanistan. We don't want China swooping in under us, apparently. That's what the act is saying. That's what this is working on. Okay. Co-financing arrangements with China's infrastructure bank. You see a thread here. China financial threat mitigation. That's what all these are. This is an economic world war fought over dollars and cents. And who's the big bad enemy right now in the eyes of America? I don't mean that personally towards any person. I mean that is a geopolitical statement. Why in the world is the Lacey Act involved in this? So then at the very bottom, here's the last bullet point. Combating wildlife tracking, financing, and proceeds study. They're going to finance this wildlife tracking problem right here. Now, I will not say China with the Trump face tradesman. I'm not getting into that crap. I'm sorry. I fully am on board with everybody else's right to freedom of speech, but I'm not interested here on the Ball Python channel. So here you go, though. Combating wildlife trafficking, financing, and proceeds study act. This is going to allocate money, and it's going to require the Treasury to study wildlife trafficking and its proceeds. Hear me out, including an examination of the proliferation of online platforms and the convergence of trafficking commodities, financial enablers, illicit networks. Here we go. Many of which are fueled by Chinese criminal activity and demand. They don't want wildlife being imported here to support, I guess, a Chinese kingpin's tiger habit. Crazy town, right? Absolute crazy town. So what do we do about it? I've complained enough. Thank you for hearing me out complaining. I feel, as a believer in democracy, I do still believe in it. I also believe that our politicians are our representatives as their constituents. No matter our party affiliation, no matter their party affiliation, they are to represent their constituents. If you go to the Usark website and you click through on the Lacey Act information, you will find a link to every state, and you click on that state and you'll find a link to every senator's inbox. There is a pre-written letter from Usark. You can edit it however you want with a cut and paste. And it's a very quick process. I emailed both Marco Rubio and Rick Scott, my two senators from Florida, and it took me about 10 minutes. The thing that took me the longest is that the Usark pre-written email has about 4,600 characters. Marco Rubio will allow you 3,000 characters to email him, but Rick Scott will only allow you 2,000. I keep my commentary quiet on that part. Send those in. Follow up if you want. Send it every week. I love the scene from the Shawshank Redemption where the guy Andy finally gets his library because he hand wrote a letter every week, and they finally just gave him a library to shut him up. I don't know how effective it is, but these are supposed to be politicians of the people. Everybody knows somebody. Use whatever channels you can. Get to these folks. I really think from a rational, scientific, non-party partisan standpoint, this is nonsense. I don't know who snuck it in, who's looking to grandstand. I haven't dug that far deeply yet. So there. Thanks for hearing me out. That's what I think that we can do. Hopefully we can get it removed from the act. I think the America Competes Act is probably largely popular. To tradesmen's point, China was all we heard about from the last administration. This is now a different party and in power, and it's got the same overtones. So I think it's probably quite popular. We need to get the language removed. And so support Usark. They're our lobby. But if you know friends in the fish community and the bird community and the anything but dog and cat, not that there's anything wrong with them either, but they're not threatened. Anything else in the non-dog and cat pet community, get all of them going on these things. So I really appreciate it. Like I say, we're the constituents. This is supposed to be a representative democracy. Hold their feet to it. Make your voice heard. Thanks. I hate politics. I cannot believe I just spent 30 minutes on politics. I can't believe there's still 19 of you here. Thank you. I won't subject you to that again. Jeremy, thank you for the shirt. The shirt does look good on me, man. I'm just repeating your words. Yeah. It's a handsome medium. It fits me pretty well. I'm a pretty sleek little dude, and it fits nicely. Not too plasticky on the diagram or the image either. It did well in the wash. Thank you so much. So before we talk about relationships, and I'll tell you about my trip to Jeremy Baud's place. If you don't know who I'm talking about, this is Baud's Exotic Reptiles, Jeremy Baud. Check out his YouTube page. Check out his morph market. And also check out the video that's going to land tomorrow of me visiting his facility last weekend. It's a really, really cool place. It's a cool video, and there's a lot of content there. So you guys know I love talking business. I think you guys love interacting with me on the business as well. So I wanted to talk about some new things that I'm either thinking of doing or trying to get people's input on. And I'll tell you a story. This was before I was monetized. And if you've noticed, I've started in the description to have some affiliated links. That's really where this is going. But one of the very first, I'm not going to say his name. You can find it maybe in the comments somewhere if you want. A few months or so ago back, few weeks, I put out a video about the floors that I installed in my snake room. And in the hook, the intro, I said, I'll tell you how I did it and you can do it too. Well, in the video, I talk about, I just went to an area with a whole lot of residential construction, and I found that people were just throwing away, a spare box or two of the LVP flooring, the vinyl flooring. That's really nice. It's waterproof. It's padded, clicks together, boom, boom. So I got the flooring for free just from driving through, suburban sprawl. And that was the point of the video. There's a spoiler on it. Plus, it's a cool floor. Well, somebody who has been a long-time subscriber, I hope they still are, but I don't know if they are actually. He wrote in my comments, that's it. You've sold out. I'm out of here. And I didn't lose my patience. I commented back. I said, did you watch the video? I'm not selling anything. And he did apologize, and it was cool. And he said, no, I'm on board. So I hope he is. He's been on the channel for a long time. Why I bring that up is now my channel is monetized. And look, I love what I'm doing, but it does take a lot of time. And I do have dreams that this could be a viable stream of income for me. So when people ask me, what camera are you using? How do you make your studio look that way? Where did you get the faucet for your sink? Or what are the hanging lights that you're using or whatever? I think that there's an avenue where if people can use it and they're going to buy it anyhow, why not use one of my links? And what I'm saying is I don't want to turn into a salesman. I don't want to run infomercial commercials. On the other hand, if you're interested in how I do stuff, how can I get that information to you without abandoning what my channel's about? It's always going to be about ball pythons. I will never sell enough faucets to make up for what I'll sell in one even single gene orange dream snake. Okay. Like the money from the links is so little. So it really is more of me just sharing what I do. And it's another level of sharing, but I don't want people, going away calling me a sellout. And for the record, I wish I could be so lucky to sell out. I wish somebody would write me a check big enough for me to sell out. Like I've got some philosophical challenges with the word sell out. I know who I am. I'm an honest person. Tradesman lives here in Jacksonville. Yeah, they throw away so much good wood also in this new community build. There's so much free stuff. It's just out there on the curb, like broad daylight. I'm just strolling. Oh, I spotted the box. Hey, you guys want that? No. All right, I'll take it. So like I put the links in the description, and I'll say stuff like links in the description, but I was thinking of like once a month doing my favorite things kind of video, and I wouldn't do it in place of my normal content. Like right now I'm averaging between 1 to 2 videos a week outside of my live show. I wouldn't make that video bump those. But maybe if I did like my favorite things this week that have something to do with ball python. So if it's about putting the show on the channel, if it's, I found PVC at a good price and here's a link to it. Jeremy made me an affiliate and you could click here to get his shirt. I don't know maybe that's something you guys would be interested in. So that's some ideas that I'm kicking around. I also was impressed. I check out some of my colleagues. So like Gershon, I'm amazed. Gershon at GP Snakes. Gershon has sponsors, and like I hear him say the word sponsor, and I'm like, what does that mean? They just send you a t-shirt and you shout them out, and he's like, no, they pay for a spot to be the sponsor. He didn't tell me what they pay. I don't know. I'm guessing it's, I'm guessing it's $20. I don't know what it is. But it's something where, it's worth it. They're sending him money to be the sponsor of that show. And I was like, all right, maybe somebody wants to sponsor me. What's the other podcast? Snakes and the Fat Man with Chris Eaton. That guy, he's got fewer subscribers than I do, and Justin Kabilka sponsors his show. How do I get that deal, man? This is what I'm trying to figure out. So again, I don't know what their deal is. I don't know if Kabilka says, look, I'll hook you up with a snake. And, I don't know. There's a million different ways to do business and to get deals done. So, Bosa says, let's call Justin, man. If you got the introduction, I would love to meet him, and not to beg him for a sponsorship. I'd love to meet him to be just to meet him and to learn from him. Ball Python Project says being in the hobby is long. Yeah, I don't know how long Chris Eaton's been at it. I do know Gershon has put in the work. Man, that guy has been at it a long, long time. Mark says he'll sponsor me. Mark, we'll work out a deal, man. I'll shout you out. I feel like here's part of the problem. I feel like guilty taking. I feel like this is almost like an imposter syndrome situation. And I'm not saying this to search for everybody to go, no, it's okay, Adam, you're good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I feel like an imposter because in my life, I've always traded X quantity of work for X number of hours equals X amount of money. So to find new ways to make money feels weird to me. And for somebody to say, I find value in putting my name or my brand alongside your name or your brand, where really I don't have to do anything, is awkward to me. That is weird. It's uncomfortable. I love the idea. That's what we all want, right? We want our, what's the Dire Straits song? Money for nothing and our chicks for free, man. Yeah, man. That's what we want. We'll say the rats for free. So I guess I'm working through some of that where I got, 25 years I worked in restaurants. That's pretty blue collar stuff, man. You got to accomplish X and then you can retrieve Y. Adam's next video is sponsored by Manscaped. I'm not wearing my V-neck shirt today, or you would see why I'm laughing so hard. Okay. So there's Jeremy's content. Snakes and the Fat Man was a podcast for a very long time. He had the sponsors before he went to YouTube. Hey, that's cool. That's how I learn. Okay, that's really good context then. That pretty fair statement about, be at it long enough. I am a big believer in just show up and do the work. So yeah. Okay. Fair enough. That's good context and good. And I wouldn't say it makes me feel better. I'm not, there was a tinge of jealousy in my voice before. If somebody's done the work, there's no jealousy. That they've earned it. Go kill that. Steven says, from a marketing perspective, sponsoring a show is an ad and you want to put the ad in front of people most likely to need your product or service and place in front of people who don't already know about you. Yeah, good point. So like my metrics, we usually, my peak viewership is maxed out at 40. And like tonight, I think peak viewer was right at 20 so far, but it's kind of funny from 840 to about 920 each week is when I really kind of ramp up. Yeah, look right there. There's another person just joined. We're at 20 people right now. But on average, in the first 10 days after the live, the videos generally get above 300 views. So, I don't know what those metrics are worth to people. And interestingly enough, YouTube now, because I'm monetized, actually has some metric algorithm that they have figured out. Man, I need to talk about viewers. We just went up another 10%. We're at 22 viewers now. Those of you just joining, I was just talking about how between 840 and 920 each week, we kind of peak on that. And so anyhow, I'm just thinking through and exploring that kind of stuff. That's a great point. Thanks for filling me in that Snakes and the Fat Man has been at it for so long. That brings a lot of context. And then, to Steven's point, it's a simple value proposition. Yeah. Who can you get your product in front of that otherwise would not normally see you? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys get clutches and you want to move them quicker and send me. I don't know. Maybe I do promos for 30 seconds a pop or something. I don't know. Anyhow, it's a part of this whole journey is me learning new things, and I love exploring. I have the freedom to explore. I have the freedom to ask these things in a way. You know, here's what's neat. We're talking. I'm getting marketing advice this week. Last week, I was having a conversation about how many amps have to run through a wall outlet versus a wall switch. So really, it's just a cool community. Oh, this is where Steven brings me right down to earth. For a rough estimate, you could get about 10,000 targeted ad impressions using Facebook or Instagram ads for about $10. So that would put my 300 viewers at about 30 cents value. I think for 30 cents, I'm not cutting any promos. All right. So anyhow, I'm kicking around that stuff. For those of y'all that are, I'm curious, those of y'all that are monetized or that want to get monetized on YouTube, I don't know if anybody else is willing to share, but I will. About 2 weeks ago, I got I got over 1,000 subscribers about a month ago. And about 2 weeks ago, you have to go through this process, and they actually mail you something through the United States Postal Service for your verification PIN number. They don't do the 2-factor over your phone. They do it through the mail. And it's ironic that the company Google, that knows more about everybody in this world, in this universe, literally, their most secure method of verifying your identity is sending you a piece of paper in the mail. I still get a kick out of that. You know, okay, so Steven brings up another good point. On the flip side, the best part of sponsoring shows that you can support a creator you enjoy and give them the ability to make more content. That's true. I have found I take a lot of solace in knowing that my efforts here, first, I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning transferable skills. If I put it this way, like, how crazy is this? If we could talk about build a community about reptiles and snakes and actually advertise and sell snakes, which I do, and I do use this channel for, I feel like I could advertise and sell almost anything after becoming proficient at doing that with snakes and ball pythons. So I enjoy that. But you're right. If somebody's got to choose between a day job and making content, at some point the math has to add up. I'm in a pretty fortunate situation right now where I find this as a release. And actually, I'm going to talk about that in just a moment as well. So anyhow, where I was getting to on the monetization. So right out of the gate, for just really easy math, I've got 1,075 subscribers. I think my ad revenue is about $1 a day. So I work a year, get monetized, and it's running an average of about $1 a day. That doesn't include the super chat stuff that you could do on here and that kind of thing. So with that, actually, it's been a pretty good first month, although that numbers wise, it looks amazing. But part of that was a fundraiser for sending money to Dr. Seidel at the Ball Python Genetics project, which I'm about to do another video on that. But I'm going to be honest, I wanted to get some of my sheds in before I did another video of it. So it's about $1 a day. I'm curious what some of you others that are monetized are making. If you feel like sharing, or if you want to comment in the chat, or if you want to message me on Instagram or wherever you feel like comfortable sharing or not share. Some people don't want to, and that's understandable too. Money can be a touchy subject for a lot of people. But for those of you all wondering, my metrics are that I'm doing about 7,000 views every 28 days. I've got about 200 total videos over 1 year. And I do, at minimum, I do one new video. I do one new video a week of ball python content, and I do one live show a week at minimum. I like to do 2 ball python videos a week, but life gets busy, and we'll talk about that. All right, Leviathan snakes. When you Google sunset, we want you to see Leviathan snakes. Leviathan snakes, Stephen and Courtney, plus one additional. It was a killer breeding season. They definitely got a new holdback at the house this year. Go check out Leviathan Snakes on Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube. How about it, right? That's worth $10, right? Hey, look, thank you very, very much. All joking aside, I'm grateful. Again, I have this weird like imposter syndrome of I want the $10. That's going to buy a lot of rats. My goal this year is for my YouTube income to pay for my rats. Then I don't have to have the debate whether I should breed rats anymore. Bosa Balls, thank you so much. Hey, and by the way, I got to get you on sometime, man. I see your Instagram. I see your YouTube channels. So I got to get you on the show sometime. We'll work it. We'll work that out. So $1 a day, but let me look at it a different way. And when I say this, I'm not taking anything away from this guy. I like this guy, Chris Hardwick. I know everybody's got an opinion. We are not here to talk smack about Chris Hardwick. I think he's a good dude. He's been a good dude to me. And I also think that we're all human, and we probably said something that we wish we could take back or didn't have the guts to say to public consumption. So we're not going to crucify Chris here. That's not my point. Chris has, what is that, 40, 50,000 subscribers? I love Chris. I love what he's done. And I think that I'm not saying I think I could do it. I think that I could be in that realm. I don't think I'll have 50,000 subscribers overnight. And that guy worked for it. That guy was putting out 1 to 2 videos a day during the pandemic, the early days of the pandemic. Oh my gosh. I mean, he did the work. So I'm happy for him. But Chris is making $50 a day. If I'm making $1 and I got 1,000 subscribers, he's got 50,000 subscribers and he's making $50 a day. I'm actually sure he's making a whole lot more than that. But $50 a day is, 18 grand a year. Hello, that's more than paying for rats right there. So anyhow, I find it as a proof of concept. I'm going to explore how to maximize that. I hope you all don't think that I've sold out. I think if we put the work in, we deserve an opportunity. We don't deserve anything other than an opportunity, but we deserve an opportunity to try to monetize or live an easier life where we're not grinding out or feeling owned by some job that, even if we love it, once you feel owned by it, it can be, build resentment. So that's what I got cooking on the business end. You guys can feel free to comment, let me know, reach out to me what you think. And if you're really interested, hell, I could do a video on my monetization metrics. Like I say, at $1 a day, I got nothing to hide. So I'm really far more thankful for the community, the audience, the input, the education that I get. What I think people don't realize is if I could share my knowledge, fine. But most of what I have is just experiential versus like some expertise. If we were talking restaurants, I would be talking expertise. But ball pythons is just hobby experience. So I do this show as much to learn from everybody as much as I do to. My point isn't to spew knowledge. I don't think that I have. For every bit of knowledge that I spew, I feel like I get 3 or 4 times back in return is what I'm saying. So my last topic on my docket tonight, and I'm feeling good. We're almost an hour in, but I got plenty of gas in the tank. So, and you guys are doing well. There's 25 of you still here. That's awesome. Still going up that peak. I told you we were at 19 at 839. At 840, we started going up. I wanted to talk about relationships. So I'm wearing Jeremy's shirt. Most of you all in the audience, I know, or at least the ones commenting, I do. I see some new, I do see some new people. And I don't know if I've said hello to ODGC before. Our Dad's Gone Crazy Exotics. I thought that was just a fantastic YouTube name. I ran across some of your videos before, and I think I've subscribed. If I haven't, I'll be back around too. But I enjoyed your content. Check out ODGC Exotics. That's short for Our Dad's Gone Crazy. That is something that I can empathize with for a variety of reasons, but mostly because I'm a dad and I've gone a little bit nuts. Hey, yeah, thank you, Stephen. And I don't claim to take credit other than I'm not going to put up with people hurting each other or chasing after each other or starting, what are we going to start a YouTube beef? Like, this is ridiculous, the stuff that I see. So straight into the relationships conversation. So Jeremy is a guy that I've built a pretty good relationship with. He's been very good to me for probably no other reason than just to be a good guy. I've never exchanged money with him. I've not been a customer. I would be. I mostly can't afford his snakes. But, you know, he's been very knowledgeable, and I use him as the example partially because there is a video tomorrow coming out of the last time I visited the only time I visited his facility, which is phenomenal, man. It's fantastic. When you walk in and like your neck does a jerk because the racks go so high up, the high ceilings, like, you know, it's going to be a fun day. But check out the video. He showed off some desert ghosts, some kryptons, pieds, pairings that he's doing right now. This was only 10, 12 days ago that I was there. So it's the height of breeding season. And then he's got this killer clutch of Partho babies that are like, I was editing the video tonight and I literally texted Jeremy going, all right, look, I don't think I can hang with what people are going to offer you, but I got to throw my name in the hat to try and figure out how to get one of those babies from you. They look fantastic. So check out that video. And it's just a cool example of what relationships can do. You make new friends, you find new things that you would, bond over. And the video, we go through his rat facility. We check out it's geckos, Euromastics, 2 different kinds of iguanas. We didn't even get like 3 times in the video. He's like, oh, we got tortoises wandering around because it's too cold outside for him. I never did see a tortoise, but they were there somewhere. So I already have a date to go back in April. We've got a little bit of unfinished business to complete in April, and that business is going to be Jeremy's to unveil. I'm not going to go any further into that. I did get 2 pieds out of the deal, and I don't have them yet. I've got to build another rack, and then I'm going to go down and go see Jeremy again. So check out that video tomorrow. It'll be very cool. Here's another example of relationships and hopefully some maturity from myself. Like, I like to look in the mirror. Maybe I'm just getting old and losing my hair and that stuff, but I try and give some self-reflection. So I had a weird moment. I was flipping through Instagram. This was about 10 days ago. Those of you all that I might have vented to or pieced anything together, please don't name any names. It all has been resolved. And I like to say I'm not into YouTube beefs and that stuff. And that's really what this is about. So I'm flipping through Instagram, and there is me. And right here is Dr. Hannah Seidel. And somebody has used my clip and turned it into a short on Instagram. I don't really have a problem with that. It's got over 1,000 views and nobody credits me. I don't even mean me. Like, my brand, Proper Royals, wasn't credited. And there I'm like, I didn't know how I was supposed to feel about it. So on the one hand, I'm like, damn, I've gotten big. And this was a big play. This is somebody with 12,000 Instagram followers. I thought more and more about it. So the thing that bugged me about it was I did the work and I didn't get any credit for it. Secondly, somebody else got 1,000 views and put it in front of their audience of 12,000 people. And a simple credit would have made my day and made me feel like a prince. Man, I would have felt so special that I had created something compelling enough that somebody would have, with 12,000 viewers, sampled my content and turned it into a short. Instead, it just left a really sour taste in my mouth. So my first inclination was to write something pretty jerky on their page. But I stopped and I said, what am I going to accomplish? What is my true goal here? If my true goal here is just to pitch a fit, I have a live show. I got a YouTube channel. I could go pitch a fit. I said, no, my true goal is really to be recognized for the work that I'm doing. And they already had recognized me by taking the content. I just wanted my name connected to it. It just didn't feel right. So in a rare state of a moment of maturity, I sent a private note to the person. And I just said, look, I'm glad you like the content. Could you put my name with it? And they actually took the time to edit the post and do it, and to write a very kind note back to me, which is really cool, because they could have just as easily gone, what are you talking about? You put it on the internet. It's out there. Everything on the internet is now out there. All you got to do is take a screenshot. You share anything you want. So they didn't, though. They treated me very well, and it was very cool. And actually, I hope to have them on the show sometime. What I found interesting was in that comment section. Again, I'm not going to name any names. So that person has 12,000 followers. This next person who commented on it, most of us would put this person in the big top five. I bet in the top 5, 90% of us, if we said, what's the top 5 ball python breeders, I bet 90% of us would say this person's name. And they were really, really crapping on the idea of Dr. Seidel's work. And it really was kind of off-putting. Like, this is somebody I'd seen as kind of a rebel in the industry and had changed things in the industry. And really a strange moment where I had to step back and go like, sometimes it's better not to know somebody. Sometimes you just want to know of their legend and of their aura rather than them themselves. So those are, I share all that just as sort of interesting anecdotes for stuff to think about, or if you guys want to talk about it or chat about it or whatever. But there's sort of lessons in how I want to contribute to the community, of how I want to be a part of it. And while I have a small platform now, hopefully as my platform grows and I get more support from you all, well, you all give me great support. But as that support grows, how do I want to be responsible with who I am, not only what I've tried to be honest. So not only who I am, but who I will be as more people maybe those folks don't realize that people look up to them. I'm a 40-year-old guy. Next week I'll be 42. I'm probably the same age as the two guys I'm talking about. So it's not like they're grandfather mentor figures to me. They're guys I'd go have a beer with. Maybe they don't realize that the influence that they have, So anyway, it was just what I was thinking of. Good luck if you find it. I'm not gonna, like I say, I'm not gonna say any names. But yeah, it's out there. I don't think with my name attached to it. Well, now it is, so maybe actually you can find it. But anyway, we're not, like I say, I'm not interested in starting a beef. Jeez, Chuck or Anna. I'm not sure if that's Chuck or Anna. It's Laughing Boy. I'm going to guess it's Chuck. Thank you. Let me see if I can cut a promo off the cuff here for Laughing Boy. Chuck and Anna, off the top of my head, if I recall, are in Pennsylvania. I happen to know they're working on some Orange Dream projects because they have high quality Proper Royals Orange Dream stock that they're working with. Possible het pieds and possible het albinos coming your way with those Orange Dreams in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm just going to play a game where I cut promos on people that I think I know. Chuck and Anna, thank you so much. Wow. Yes, that will contribute to a lot of rats right there. So, yeah, Leviathan Snakes agreed. He says, Ball Python Genetics Project, it could potentially disrupt how new genes are established as well as give better info about current genes. My cynical thought, and I wasn't going to say it, but I really just connected it all in my head. My cynical thought of why I found that comment so off-putting was first that I like Dr. Seidel. I think she's great. I think the work that she's doing is great. I think she's been plainly clear that she has no motive other than science for the sake of science. She has turned down opportunities to monetize and capitalize this technology. She's not in it for anything of that nature. So for her to be, portrayed as some amateur, and she's a doctor, for Pete's sake, she's a doctor, man. I got to watch my cursing. That was close. She's not out here playing games to screw with some ball python breeders about one gene over another. Get over ourselves. Sorry, I'm talking to the guy who was kind of crapping on her work. Yeah, she's going to change the game. She's going to empower the relative little guys like most of us in this audience that aren't in the top 5 of the hobby's breeders. We will be in the next 10 years, but we're not right now. Yeah, the work she's doing is phenomenal. Send her your sheds. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, check out the video that I did with her 2 weeks ago. It was 2 episodes back. Just go to my videos 2 episodes back, Dr. Seidel. It's strangely empowering to know the work that she's doing is going on. And those of y'all that missed the episode, in a nutshell, if you want to know if you have, and help me out, Steven, you're probably all over it, albino, lavender, I believe candy, ultramel, pied, and she's also working on yellow belly and hypo. So those 7 recessives, if you want to know if your animal is het for any of those, send her a shed. She'll tell you using DNA for the low price of $0. For the sake of you contributing your shed, that's what she'll do. Google the Ball Python Genetics Project. It's the first link that comes up. Dr. Hannah Seidel. I just sent her 9 sheds today. Some of them she just gets to have, and some of them I'm hoping that she'll test for me. So how cool, right? Work. I had this real epiphany this week. I was getting on myself because, let me see here. Albino toffee candy. She's working on the yellow belly complex right now. Yes. Also, for sure, because there's another university in Canada that has identified and mapped out the pied, and they reciprocate knowledge. Definitely pied as well. I'm nearly 100% sure she said lavender also. So if you got a dreamsicle project and you bought a 66% het combo, send it to her. Have her check it out. So I kind of was down on I was frustrated with myself this week. And then I had this cool aha moment, and it's about my work. I work too much. I wake up, I'm working on Instagram, and I'm working on show notes, or I'm working on booking guests. My mornings are usually social related, but not filming video. By 8:30 to 9, I'm working. I come out of the garage. I work from my house remotely. I work on that. My afternoons, I usually wrap up office work around 2. I go get my son. And then after that, I'm working on booking music. I'm working on filming YouTube content. I'm working on cleaning the snakes, and then any other business ventures I get, excited about. And this week I was like, man, I can't catch up. I've only done 1 video a week the past 2 weeks on top of my live show. And I'm really excited. There's a lot of content I want to get out. This video that I'm going to post tomorrow with Jeremy is over 40 minutes long. It's my longest video I've ever done other than live shows. So I was like, man, I'm way behind. And then I had this kind of aha moment. The reason I'm behind is that I spent last weekend out on the road touring, playing live music, which I get an absolute kick out of. I make okay money at it. I do make profit, which is hard to do as a musician. So I'm profitable as far as music goes. And then the other thing that I found is that when I'm exhausted from music and I'm exhausted from filming and I'm trying to catch up and all that, I'm actually excited just to go back to my day job, and I do really good work in my day job. And this aha moment was these three, ball python, music, and professional career, are all really feeding each other right now. And I'm having a good time at that. And I don't know if that makes me an absolute psychotic lunatic, or if you all find times that are refreshing to yourself. I know some people find woodworking incredibly fulfilling. I find working with and fixing guitars, apart from playing them, incredibly like balancing. So like I say, it was just this aha moment of where I was like, wait a minute, I wonder if I'm the only one that's like that, and maybe I'm a lunatic and insane, which I could be, because I am a workaholic. I self-professed. I love it. But I just find this great balance in what I'm doing, and it's by working myself to near exhaustion or getting behind where I'm getting the most fulfillment, because that means that I'm doing other things with just so much. Yeah, Phil says guitars clear the mind. Yeah, Phil, I know you had mentioned that you play before, and I'd kind of forgotten it. And then I was perusing your channel, and there you were, just shredding some metal, man. I'm not a lead player like that. I can play some lead, but I'm not like that, man. So that's really, really cool. What do you guys want to talk about? We're an hour and 10 in. There's 28 of you. I'm down to hang out, and I felt good tonight for a live show solo. I didn't feel like I was panicking or, what am I gonna do? I saw, and it's going on in the chat, this is really cool to see some of the Pennsylvania, and I think New York. I think Phil is in New York, and maybe you guys could comment about it. I've seen Phil and Jeremy Warfel working on this hobbyist breakfast that they're going to get together for. It's up in Pennsylvania, and I can't be there. I can't just fly up for breakfast. One day, with enough super chats and promos, albeit I'm joking, I can't just hop a plane for breakfast. But I'm curious about how many people you all think are going to be able to attend. And then, Phil, I'm a little curious, because I don't have a good sense of geography of how far the Finger Lakes are region from Pennsylvania. Maybe they're closer than I think. It just seems like a long way, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's right there. I have to take a look at the map, I guess. But I think that's totally cool. And I wish that there was something like that locally, because I've commented before, I'm amazed how many breeders there are in the Jacksonville metro area. And we really don't connect. I've invited a few on. There's a guy just across the river from me in a part of town called Orange Park. Man, he is just banging out double recessive visuals like it's nothing. And I didn't even know about him until about a month ago. So let's see. 403 Fauna says, you got an awesome season brewing, Adam. Thank you. By the way, you are cooking with some fire. Dude, the snakes you're posting are like, they're pretty money, man. Like, there's some people, here's why I say this. Like, anybody can be money with enough money. Like, I'm just not in a position, or I'm not willing to, or I never will, just take 50 grand and go buy a bunch of snakes. It's not my style. It's not who I am or what I'm going to be. And I'm not knocking it. So I think Mark and I kind of purchase on a similar pace and similar mindset and budget, and maybe not. I'm probably drawing assumptions. What I'm saying is, if that's true, he's far outpacing me with what he's buying. It's killer what he's buying. I think 3 times now I've commented. The last 3 comments I've made on his Instagram has been, it's just been something like, dude, look at that, dude. So, all right, what's the most expensive snake you might produce this year? So I think pretty easily I would have to, let me make real sure, I could make an albino pied, which would be a double visual recessive, which would be very cool. Although they don't command a whole lot of money. I do think they're beautiful, awesome snakes, and like, everything's relative. Can you imagine when somebody put out the 15 years ago when they popped out one of the first albino pieds, like they're just heads must have exploded. I can't imagine what somebody paid. I bet somebody paid 30, 40 grand for one before. I think even the females are under 1,000 now. But I could, if one of my big females proves het for pied and albino, which she's supposed to, but I haven't proven her out yet. That could be, but that would be number 2. I think the number 1 most expensive snake I could produce this year would come from my Krypton project, which I have a pastel het cryptic female who's at like 2,700 grams. She's a big girl. She did not go last year. She's slammed on the weight. She's breeding like crazy. And she has only been paired with my visual clown, and he's a pastel, and he's got other stuff floating around that I don't know what the heck he's got going on in him. So to recap, because I just spat out a whole bunch of snake gene word vomit. Pastel het cryptic female, big girl, to a pastel visual clown, which means 50% of those babies should be visual kryptons. And help me with the math. Half of those should be super pastels. So if we get a 8 egg clutch, I'm hoping I get 2 super pastel kryptons, which would be a pretty expensive snake and would be pretty cool for me to land on. I am also excited to find out and to continue my journey, because the stud is the father to the little girl that you have, Mark, that you bought from me. That's the clown that produced the het clown. And you saw that clutch has crazy stuff going on in it. So that's one of my big projects this year to that question. Thank you for that. Yeah, somebody just made a comment that it takes, we all know each other. It takes so long to greet everybody when you come in. Otherwise, I've got a fair amount of double hets brewing this year. I will have clown axanthic double hets. I could produce this is not a double het, but I could produce a super inchy clown, and I've got 2 ways to get to that, which would be pretty cool. That would be fairly high dollar. Possible double het or visual double recessive pied albino. That's this year. And sorry, I'm just going through my racks. Pieds. Oh, I could get a pretty loaded, this would be pretty expensive. I could get a yellow belly inchy leopard pied if I hit all. That female would be pretty valuable. That'd be a pretty banging clutch. I'll have Orange Dream, Yellow Belly, and Cinnamon het clowns, or combos of those 3. Not hugely expensive, but very valuable breeding possibilities. I know I'm forgetting some off the top of my head. I've got 8 pairings. And then Banana Mojave ghosts as well will be pretty cool this year that I could produce. So those are kind of what I got going on. Let me see what else we got back here. Yeah, this is an interesting. What's everybody's thought on this? Our dad's gone crazy. Have you thought about purchasing an ultrasound machine? No, I opted for a sink that costs twice what an ultrasound machine would be. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you could see my sink on my very latest video. What's everybody's thought on that? I hear I hear different opinions. I didn't even get to check with Jeremy. I think at Jeremy Baud's place, I saw that he had an ultrasound machine. I did not ask him about that. I have 8 breeding females. That's it. 27 total snakes. So I've got some holdbacks and some that'll be growing up. My peak breeding number is probably going to cap out at around 20, short of buying a new house. Like that's a lot of super chats and stickers for that much. So, for the foreseeable, honestly, the next 8-10 years, just from life, not limitations I want to put on myself in the hobby. But I don't see that I'll be breeding more than 20-ish females a year. So for 20-ish females a year, what do you guys think about an ultrasound machine? I don't know. I know people that use them, and I know people that don't ever touch them, and they're wildly successful. Then again, I know a bunch of people that miss. I only 2 of 4 of my breeders last year went. So I don't know. Let me see. There's some comments about I can't even keep up with I can't even keep up. Yeah, Banana Mojave Ghost. Yeah, that would be killer. I'm working on that. Kai is in the house. All right, so Snakes for the Memories says, love my ultrasound. Hey guys, good job on getting your show and your brand and your channel. I'm talking about Snakes for the Memories. You got your own personality, and you're definitely a new, unique personality. If y'all haven't seen him, go check him out. You guys are going to do well. You'll find your way. I'm saying that like I'm some old hand now. I remember when people used to say that. I was like, oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Like, you know me. But I mean it from a good way, in a good place. I truly do mean that. Jeremy says he has an ultrasound machine. And he loves it. Leviathan Snakes. We have one. It's kind of nice, but 100% not necessarily. And I honestly think the money would have been better spent going towards a rack. Okay, so that is another good point. Like and even to the point about my sink, which is a little bit silly because I spent a lot of money on that sink space, and I love it, and it makes me happy, and that I'm just a weird dude that way. But yeah. What else could you do with that? What, $1,000, $1,200? I don't know. Maybe they're cheaper. Maybe they're more. I'm not sure. What could you do with that money that would further use? I don't know. Like I say, I'm not sure. It's a great question. I'm not against it. I'm just not sold for me. Blue Ridge Python, he wants one so bad just after one season. Blue Ridge Python, did you put out your first video yet? Like we had like a community intervention therapy session with you. Have you started your YouTube channel? That's what we need. Jeremy at Warful says, I don't want to play the guessing game anymore. Yeah, I get that. I guess I just don't mind guessing. I just pair until something happens. Again, like I say, though, my results last season were only 2 out of 4. I need better odds. I need better results than that. How about this? If I go 4 for 8 this year, I probably will buy an ultrasound machine. If I go 6 or 7 for 8, maybe I wing it another year. I guess that's my answer. There you go. Now we talked it out. There's my own therapy session. Inkoline, I'll get to your question in just a second. Kai doesn't answer. He just says, I'm working on my fish tank. Hey, Kai, what are you hearing in the fish hobby about this Lacey Act stuff, man? Because I know it's got that hobby sideways too. Primal Scale says he got a medical hand-me-down. Now that's interesting. So there's a Mayo Clinic here in Jacksonville, and I got contacts there. Huh. I get used leftover sinks. I get used leftover flooring. Maybe I get a used leftover ultrasound. Joel says, Joel, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before. I'm glad to have you. Breaking my head over whether I should buy an ultrasound or a snake. I think it depends on where you're at in your breeding program. Just started, so I'll probably wait. Yeah. But yeah, Jeremy Bott says I also palpate. And that, those of y'all that don't know, that's the strategy of actually physically feeling for the follicles as well. I personally look for, this goes into Inkoline's question. He says, what's your best pairing strategy? How long to keep male with a female? How often to repeat that process? I haven't gotten a lock yet. Should I give up? No, you should not give up. if you haven't gotten a lock yet, you can Google. There's I mean, Paul at New Forest Morphs has a video about smearing sperm from one male on the back of another male. I have never done that. That sounds awful. I have never done that. I'll just leave that there. And but there's all kinds of ways from trying to trigger another male with another male shed, put that, a competing male shed in there. But no, honestly, you put them together and eventually a male and a female are going to do their thing if and when they're ready in that size. Let's see, your best pairing strategy. So I love routine. I think my animals do the best on routine. So for example, feeding night is Sunday night. Monday, Tuesday, I don't clean. I don't anything Monday, Tuesday. I leave them alone. Then Wednesday is cleaning in the morning. And then I do my pairings Wednesday afternoon. And I leave them, I leave mine for only 72 hours. I've heard other people say up to 5 days, and I don't even mean that doubtfully. I just I've always seen a lock within 3 days. And so I pull them back out. I separate them after 3 days. If it's like the third day and I haven't seen a lock and then they lock on that third day, I'll leave them for another extra day. And flip side, if they've been breeding for 3 days straight, like I'll start I don't physically pull them apart. I don't want to injure them, but I'll move their tub to a place out of the ordinary. I'll move it into my office where I'm walking by and going in and out all day. And then once they separate, I'll take them apart. November through April, I pretty much do that pretty much every other week. It depends. If I'm doing one male to one female, I'll pair them every other week. If it's one male to up to 3 females, I'll rotate him through weekly, and then I'll give him a week off, rotate through weekly. And I just make sure that they stay on food. If they're not on food, I'll give them a break until they eat again. So that's my strategy, which is a fairly limited sample size. It's what I do. I'll know more at the end of this year. And off the tails of that ultrasound question, like, again, if I go 3 or 4 for 8 of breeding females, only 3 or 4 clutches out of 8 of them breeding, it's back to the drawing board. It's ultrasound. It's figuring out some different strategy. I'm doing something wrong. Last year I moved in the middle of breeding season. It was my very first breeding season. So, give myself a break. It's okay. Blue Ridge Python says, currently playing in the building, or are you just fat game with a couple females? I always assume that they're building and I throw a male in there. Steven, I feel the ultrasound really helps when you have more females than a male can handle, and you need to prioritize who it goes to. That is a fantastic angle. I really am interested in trying to expand my quote breeding season. I'm more interested in expanding my laying season because I have limited space. So if all my animals are laying within a 2-month period, I need a huge incubator. I've got to use up more space. If they're spread out, which I'm not going to have any actual say in, it's not like I can dictate when they're going to lay. But if I knew that they were able to spread out of both when to use that male, but also, my early clutches will be done, the incubator space will be filled up, I can keep the smaller one for right now because I'm right on the cusp. I can handle 8 boxes in my incubator right now. But if I go to 10 or 12, I got to get a bigger incubator, and that's less space that I'll have for live animals. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Jeremy says when he comes back, I'll show you how it works. Man, I would love that. That's the other part of it. And I'm just like scared of it. I'm going to get this ultrasound. I'm not going to know what the hell to do with this thing. I'm not going to know what I'm seeing. Like, yeah, we all need some help and mentors. That's really cool. I borrowed an buddy's ultrasound last week, used it for the first time. I was so terrible at it. Yeah, there's that, again, my concerns. Kai says the female's behavior tells you a lot, but you have to pay attention to her. Ultrasound takes the guesswork out. Yeah, I check on my I'm sure like all of us, I check on my females every day and trying to look at the bowl wrapping, the behavior, the hot, the cold, the restlessness. Are they still eating? All that sort of thing, not to mention just looking at their bodies. Look at this. What is the ratio of folks generally who participate in the hobby that want to make it a business? Is there a way to know that? All right. Andy is a ringer. Andy was the best man in my wedding, and I'm really thankful that you're here tonight, dude. This is very cool. I also get to go have a beer with Andy tomorrow night. And anybody in Orlando, I'm playing music in Orlando tomorrow night. I get to have a beer with an old friend tomorrow, too. I don't know that answer, Andy. We could do a straw poll here. You guys can answer that question if you like. I would love to I have made mine a business. Whether it'll be a successful business is anybody's guess, but I think I'm on the right path. I'm trying to be anyhow. Man, I didn't even see Andy was hanging out in here. I'm way behind on the comments. Fish YouTubers are just as concerned in making noise. Good. I got to think that the fish community, the snake community, the bird community, I mean, this is everything but cats and dogs, literally everything but cats and dogs being affected. So hopefully we get some good noise out there. Jeremy Warfels, very kind of you. Good night, Adam. Great live as usual. Jeremy, thank you. I will see you soon. I will be on Jeremy's show March 6th. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks. I'll be there on his show. And Primal Scale says he got his, for $200 I would definitely jump in on the ultrasound. I would Inkline, I know it's on camera now for all of eternity. How many different males did you use to breed the 4 females? Mainly, if that was for me, I have 8 females that I'm breeding, and the males that I'm working through are, I think that there's 4. Hang on, I've got a Super Mojave, I have a Clown. Yeah, I have 4. I've got a Super Mojave ghost, pastel ghost. I think he's all white, so I'm not sure. But not a Super Mojave pastel ghost. I have a visual pied het albino stud. I have a visual clown stud, and I have an Enchi het clown stud. Those are, I'm sorry, I lied. Those are my 4 primary breeders. My backup is an Orange Dream het pied that I love. That guy's Orange Dream strain. So I have him. And then I have also an Enchi yellow belly het pied that is a backup breeder, but only going into my pied projects. All the others are bred 1-to-1. So if those studs fail me, I'm in bad shape on that too, which may be your point in asking how many males I'm working through here. Anybody here ever had a female striker try to coil a male? Yeah, I think Courtney and Steven had one. I think it's on video. Steven, pipe up if you yeah, there it is right there. Yes, it was earlier this season, Blue Ridge. Yeah, that was crazy to see and hear about. Steven says, my guess for Andy's question is to look at the really popular reptile breeder audience size versus the pet tuber audience size. Yeah, Steven, that's the old, what example did you use when you were on the show? That's the Corvette example. You Google Corvette and every video's got 80,000 views and 20,000 subscribers. You look at the ball python community and, guys my size and your size can make a splash. So much lower level of barrier to entry, but also much lower reach at the moment. Hey, that's cool, Jonathan. Everybody give this guy a thumbs up for the algorithm. That's right. Let's play the game. I appreciate it. Wow, Jeremy says 80% of people in the hobby want to make it a business. And yeah, and I'll clarify. When I say business, I would love for it to be my only stream of income. But actually, no. I mean, music's always going to be a stream, hopefully, knock on wood, is always going to want to be. I'm always going to have a soft spot in my heart for food and beverage, whether it's consulting or in operations or picking up projects here and there. And then I love the rental housing game. It works for me. It's a headache for some people. I've been fairly fortunate in it. I don't have a rental unit right now, but I am working on it. That is something that I'm cooking up right now as well. So I don't ever think it'll be my sole source of income, but it will be a revenue stream. And let me tell you, if I could get my rental game going, my Snake game going, and my music game going, and then figure out how to have health insurance, then I could actually not rely on the food and beverage day job in the office anymore. So guys, thank you for the last half hour of content. Phil, brother, $5. Cheers. It's 2.5 rats. Boom. Thank you. You're going to help feed a ball python this week. Guys, I want to say thank you all very much. I don't have a guest lined up yet for next week, so I will have one. I don't know who it'll be. I'll be up in Washington, D.C. this weekend. I'll be in Orlando tomorrow night, and I'll be back on the air at 8 p.m. next Tuesday night. Tomorrow, the video with Jeremy Bod and his facility tour, which is killer. Yes, the views will help me in the algorithm and all that, but if you want to see a killer operation and future goals for the majority of us, it's great. And look, full recommendations to buy from Jeremy. It's the tidiest, cleanest, most organized facility I've ever seen. And he's just got killer stuff in there. So you can geek out. You can just watch two guys geek out, and he just has so much firepower. Like, and we only got through his hatchling rack. He showed me a couple of breeders and a couple of locks, but as far as like checking out heavy duty firepower, we only even got through hatchlings. I'll do another tour in April. I'll do another video then. So thank you all very much. I'll see you soon. And yeah, cheers everybody. Thank you. If I haven't said it 9 times, I'll say it again. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to hit the music. I will see you all next time. Andy, if you're out there, I'll see you tomorrow night, brother. Cheers, guys. Good night.